Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is December 9th, 2024, and Barcelona officially know who their opponent will be in the Copa del Rey. Also, Hansi Flick decided to change up things today in training because he has identified what the team's problem is. And finally, it's reported that Jan Laporta and the board of directors are worried about the current situation. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to hit the Goal Kids, Kickback, or Fanatics. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you hit the bet us or link on the description. Now let's begin this video by talking about the Champions League, because as you know, Barcelona will face off against Dortmund on Wednesday, where Barcelona will be looking to win that match and take home 3 very important points, because not only will these 3 points be important for Barcelona to stay in the top 8, which are the top 8 teams that automatically qualify to the round of 16, but this will also be important because if Barcelona qualify amongst the top 8, they will receive 54 million euros from UEFA. So not only is finishing in the top 8 important for the sake of Barcelona's image and for Barcelona's hopes in the Champions League, but it's also going to be very important financially for the club because, of course, 54 million euros is a lot of money, especially when you are struggling financially. So hopefully Barcelona will be able to take home those 3 very important points, and hopefully Barcelona will be able to finish amongst the top 8, not only so we can qualify to the round of 16, but so we could also make those 54 million euros that would help the club, or would go a long way in helping the club financially. Now, speaking of tournaments, it's been revealed that Barcelona's opponent in the round of 32 in the Copa del Rey, and it's no other than UD Barbastro. As you know, Barcelona will enter the competition in the round of 32 amongst other clubs, alongside other clubs like Real Madrid and Athletic Club de Bilbao. And now the draw was conducted today, where Barcelona found out that they're going to be playing against UD Barbastro. And that name might sound familiar, and that's because Barcelona also played against UD Barbastro in the round of 32 last season, where Barcelona barely defeated UD Barbastro 3-2. And hopefully this time it won't be as close, and hopefully Barcelona will be able to handle business, to put it in other ways. And speaking of the Copa del Rey, we also know some important dates, including, the match against UD Barbastro, which will be played either around January 4th or January 5th at the beginning of the year. The round of 16 will be played on January 16th. The quarterfinals will be played on February 5th. The semifinals first leg will be played on February 26th. The second leg of the semifinals will be on April 2nd, with the final being played on April 26th. Now, speaking of the Copa del Rey, of course, now that we know that Barcelona will be playing against UD Barbastro on January 4th or 5th, that also means something else, which is that we will finally get to see Szczesny get his debut for Barcelona. As you know, Barcelona has a policy where the first team goalkeeper is the goalkeeper for La Liga and the Champions League, and where the second goalkeeper is the goalkeeper for the Copa del Rey. And since Szczesny has been chosen as the second goalkeeper by Hansi Flick, that means that we will most likely get to see him debut for Barcelona on January 4th or 5th in the round of 32 of the Copa del Rey against UD Barbastro. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited to see the Polish goalkeeper get his debut for FC Barcelona. Now, more news, because it's reported that Hansi Flick today decided to change things up during training, because it's reported that the German coach has figured out what has been going on with the team. Now, as you know, Barcelona has dropped in form, where they have only been able to get 5 points out of the last 15, with 2 losses, 2 draws, and 1 victory. And Hansi Flick has analyzed the situation, and has decided that what's lacking is physical freshness, which is affecting the performance of the team on the field. There are, of course, other factors that Hansi Flick has considered, like the lack of concentration of the players and the lack of ability to maintain intensity during the 90 minutes. And in order to address the lack of concentration of the players, Hansi Flick has decided to participate in team talks to regain the team's competitive spirit. And as far as the team's inability to maintain intensity, Hansi Flick has decided that in order for the team to have that intensity and hunger, they must be able to be physically prepared. And as such, today, Hansi Flick decided that the team was not going to train on the pitch, and instead they train inside the gym in order to serve two purposes. The number one purpose was to save the aerobic effort that comes with outdoor training. And the number two reason was to focus on strength exercises that could improve the performance of the team during matches. So Hansi Flick switching things up as far as the team's inability to stay focused, participating in those team talks to get the team motivated again, to regain that competitive spirit. And as far as the team's inability to maintain intensity, Hansi Flick taking them to the gym so they can do physical exercises. That way they can, gain physical strength, so they can maintain that intensity for that entire 90 minutes. Now, I have to say I'm very glad to see that Hansi Flick is, trying to find a solution for this team, because in the previous press conferences, he has blamed the team's inability to perform on the team's young age, which I think Hansi Flick was making a mistake in doing that, because from watching the games, guess what? It's not the young players who have been making the mistakes. If anything, it's the young players who have been keeping this team afloat. Lamine Yamal against Mallorca, putting the team on his back and doing everything in his power to keep the team in the team in the game. Pau Cubarsí, who's been absolutely unstoppable in the defense. And when you look at the more experienced players, the ones who are supposed to be leading this team, players like Koundé committing the silliest mistakes. Players like Lewandowski, like Rafinha, sometimes, not being up to par. So if anything, it's not the young players who are causing these mistakes, it's the veterans. So I don't think this is a problem of the team being young. I think this is simply, the team not playing with the same intensity. It's the team losing focus. So I'm glad that Hansi Flick has identified those problems and is trying to find solutions in order to improve the team's performance. Now, speaking of the team's decline in form, it's reported that Jean Laporta and the board of directors are a little bit worried about what's going on. Now, in more specific, they're not worried about Hansi Flick himself. They're still very happy with the German coach. They think that they made the right decision in hiring him. They've seen the results immediately upon hiring him, given how the team was performing at the beginning of the season. But they are worried about the team's, dip in form. They realize that these players are kind of doing the same thing that they did last season, where after winning La Liga, all of a sudden the players stopped trying, thinking that they had, that's it, proven themselves, won it all, and as such, they don't have to prove themselves anymore. And it seems that the players are doing it again after defeating Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. All of a sudden, they think that they won a sextuple, which is not the case. So therefore, there is a little bit of worrisome amongst the board of directors about the team's mentality and how has affected their form. Not so much with Flick, but they still trust that Flick can end up turning things around and getting the team out of their mental rut that they're currently in. And well, I hope that's the case, because if we are hoping to win trophies, things have to change. You cannot just play with intensity for a few matches and then call it a day. You have to play every single match with intensity. You have to play every single match like it's a final. That's what differentiates championship level teams versus any other teams. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I did do the podcast earlier today. If you haven't seen it, make sure to check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, peace, Barca.